28th, 2026. If you would please stand and join with me as we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have roll call, please?
Chairman Taylor,
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven. Here. Member Beckles.
Here.
Member Green.
Here.
Alternate Member Rothel.
Here. Very well. We have a full quorum tonight, so we'll be able to conduct business. First up is the approval of the minutes from our December 8th, 2025 minutes. Are there any corrections or addition anyone saw that needed to be added to the minutes? All right. Do I have a motion then about the minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes?
Okay. I have a motion
Second.
and a second. No other further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None seen. Very well. Now we'll move on to a little speech. All persons who anticipate speaking on a public hearing item, must fill out an oath card to be heard on that agenda item and sign the oath contained thereon. These cards are located at a table near the entrance to the council chamber or may be obtained from the recording secretary. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with procedures adopted in Resolution Number 24-1997. Those speaking in favor of a request will be heard first. Those opposed will be heard second. And those who wish to make a public comment on the item may speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. A representative for either side, for or against, may cross-examine a witness. Anyone who speaks is considered a witness. If you have photographs, sketches, or documents that you desire for the commission to consider, you must submit into evidence and they will be retained by the city. So everyone understands, if you plan to speak tonight, you filled out an oath card and turned it in. Very good. Thank you. All right. Staff, have the agenda items been properly advertised for tonight?
Yes, Chair.
Very good. Have any of the members had direct contact with the public regarding this item?
No.
And I see none seen. We have no consent or old business. Under new business, just in case anybody didn't hit the word, item 8C, which was an appeal, has been withdrawn per the applicant. So that will not be heard tonight. Correct, staff?
That is correct.
Very good. All right, staff. So I guess we're up to variance number 1-2026 for 2010 Logan Drive. If you would please enlighten us.
Thank you, Chair. For the variance request is for Land Development Regulations, Chapter 28, Section 28-304, single-family medium density, to allow the lot width to be less than the required 75 feet and to allow the interior side yard setback to be less than the required 10 feet for a primary structure for property located in the R1B zoning district at 2010 Logan Drive, as submitted by American Ecosystems Contractors, authorized applicant for Andy the Builder LLC, owner. And then just to start, as usual, the powers of the BAA. LDR Section 34-226 states that the board shall grant a variance request when, in the opinion of the Board of Adjustments and Appeals, owing to special conditions, the literal enforcement of such ordinance or regulations would do manifest injustice to or impose an unnecessary hardship upon the applicant. In order to authorize any variance to the provisions of such ordinance, the board must consider the following criteria. Special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or building in the same zoning. That special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. That granting the variance requested will not confer upon the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district. The literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of the ordinance. The variance granted is the minimum variance that would make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure, and the granting of the variance will preserve the spirit of the ordinance or remain in harmony with its general purpose and intent. Also, in granting the variance, the public safety and welfare must be assured, and in no case shall granting of a variance result in a change of use, which would not be permitted in that zone. So with that, the applicant is requesting a variance to the Land Development Regulations, Section 28-304C, to allow a lot width of 50 feet where the 75 feet is required, and to reduce the interior side yard setbacks to 5 feet on each side where 10 feet is required. As depicted on the submitted concept plan, and I will say that the concept plan had been updated. You each have a copy that was received after the staff report and agenda had been completed and published. So that is the concept plan that we will be referring to tonight for any decisions. That was the most up-to-date submitted by the applicant. So, as depicted on the submitted concept plan, the applicant proposes to construct a 48-foot by 50-foot single-family dwelling with a 34.97-foot front yard setback and 5-foot interior side yard setbacks. The subject property is a vacant residential lot within the Whispering Hills Golf Estates subdivision, originally platted in 1926. The lot has an existing width of approximately 50 feet and does not meet the current minimum lot width requirement of the R1B zoning district. Pursuant to LDR Section 28-5 within the R1B zoning district, no dwelling shall be erected on a lot that does not abut a public street for at least 65 feet, except that a minimum street abutment of 25 feet may be permitted for irregularly shaped lots, provided that the minimum lot width is met at the building line. Given the configuration of the subject property, the application of this standard would require the primary structure to be placed in approximate 92-foot front yard setback in order to meet the 75-foot minimum lot width requirement at the building line. The requested variance to allow a reduced lot width would permit reasonable development of an existing platted lot that predates current zoning standards. However, the requested interior side yard setbacks of 5 feet on each side represent a substantial reduction from the required 10-foot interior side yard setback. The requested reduction exceeds what's necessary to accommodate a development of the lot and does not reflect the minimum relief necessary to allow reasonable use of the property. So with that, staff have broken up into two separate requests and motions. Staff are recommending approval of the variance request to allow a reduced lot width from 75 feet to 50 feet. The literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of the ordinance, and special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant. However, staff are recommending denial of the variance request to reduce the required interior side yard setbacks from 10 feet to 5 feet. The variance is not the minimum variance that would make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure, and granting the variance would confer upon the applicant special privileges denied by ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district. And with that, if needed, that's it, because you have the updated plot plan in front. So with that, I'm finished and available for any questions you may have.
Okay, staff, the house, as I'm looking on page 21, which has a blue outline of the property line, I see that there is a house to the, as I look at it, to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anything but trees. I assume it's a backyard, whatever, for the other lots beside it. So there's not a physical structure very close to that part. Is that correct?
On that, yes, on that side to the right, as you would look at it.
Yes, to the right.
That is the backyard of that property, and the one to the left is that single-family home you see there. I was unable to find building permits for that one, so I'm unsure on the current setback for that property, if that was going to be the next question.
All right, that was my question. Anyone else have a question for staff? All right. Seeing no other questions for staff at this time, do we have any cards signed up to speak?
Clayton Human.
Very good, sir. If you would please come up and give us your name and address for the record, please. Clayton Human, 2503. There's a button that's right there.
Clayton Human, I'm with American Ecosystems Contractors, and we're a custom home builder, and working with this investor, we just feel like that variance just makes sense there in that area because the lots are so big on both sides. And if we had to keep the minimum setbacks before, like she said, it's gonna be like a 90-foot driveway back, and they'll have like less than 20 feet for a backyard. It just makes, a lot better sense to move it up. Plenty of room on both sides of the property. If you did need to go through there and do anything, there's nothing gonna impede that, so I just ask you to give the variance so we can get another good family settled in Titusville in a good house.
Okay, so you're saying with the variance that they said the length from the front, the 92 feet, was that it? 90?
So the 92 feet would be if we had to apply the 75-foot width at the building line and the 10-foot interior side yard setbacks. Then you're looking at like a 92, 94-foot front yard driveway up until, because the house would have to be at that front building line.
Yeah. And like you said, there wouldn't be any backyard left over after that.
Now, you want to have kids, you got to let them loose, or dogs, they want to run. You can't let them run loose in, a big front yard like that. And so
Okay. All right. Well, answer my question. Anybody else have anything to say or questions? I see your
Have you
light on,
talked to-
sir. Do you have a question?
No, how do you turn that off?
Have you talked to anyone in building department or about possibly modifying the design, making it a longer house just modifying it in any other ways to try to fit it to the design as
Just-
opposed to
we could
squeezing?
probably make the
a house.
house smaller, but the investor wants a
I didn't say
three-bedroom.
smaller, I said narrower and longer.
Yeah, it's just, with all the setbacks and that irregular shaped lot, there's only so much you can do within that space and have a, marketable home. Right now, most of the buyers for new homes are looking at the 2-bedroom model, and, this is, just a small request. I mean, the fact that might be backed up on this property line, the neighbors on each side, they're looking at 30, 40 feet from their property lines, from where their houses are. When they come out of their house to get in their car to leave, they're not gonna see these people, because if we position the house here, when they look this way, they're looking at the woods, or look this way, they're looking at the woods, and the neighbors would have the same privacy that way. And still, you would have a usable space in the backyard for living space.
Okay, that answer your questions? Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
coming
Al.
up.
Good to see you.
Do we have any other cards?
Is it Mike Watch? Is that the last name?
Welcome, sir. If you'd please say your name and your address for the record, sir.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike Natali. I live at 2012. I've been there for about 7 years now. Before I bought the house, the property used to be part of mine before I bought it. What I've noticed is just a convenience thing that we took pictures over the last 6, 7 years of the property. Behind the property that he's building on, the fence behind them, the water builds up so big back there, it goes halfway up the fence, and the guy only has the fence there for 3 years or so. My property is raised higher than that property, so if they pour dirt or whatever it is, now it's already coming on my property. It's gonna make more of a problem because there's no drainage. If you would like, I'd like to give you guys the photos, if you'd like to see them.
If you're willing to leave them here for.
Oh, they're
to be-
yours. I
Okay.
paid for them. They're dated, time-stamped, everything like that.
Very good, sir.
But you can look at that first picture. And you can see the water line always hits heavy back there. The mosquitoes are horrible. I know the property was 30, 40 grand. They switched hands at one point. But we did not buy the property because of the building restrictions and, of course, the flooding. The flooding was the biggest thing. If it's coming onto our properties, then that's going to create a bigger problem. And it's going to be even worse for the neighbor behind them because they already have issues with flooding. And they just redid the roads back there, but the flooding is horrible back there. Even me as 6'2", if I went standing in there, it's above my knees. And I don't think you want to put a house there, in my opinion, to let your kids and animals roam around if it's a pond.
Okay, sir. So you're speaking in favor of this under the plan that they presented to put the house at the front part of the lot. Is that correct?
No, sir, if you watch the pictures in there, there's a fence because I cleared my whole lot. So there's a fence there and it runs up my property already before they build. So if they build on that property and switch the zoning, the water is going to start pushing more and more on the property. And there's other pictures in there you'll see of the water line.
Can you tell us which house you are in proximity to this property?
If you're facing the property, I'm to the left. The one to the right is fine because they got a long enough distance, but the neighbor behind him already has, if you look at his fence, you'll see the water line's about midway, and then you have my property, which it runs up, and then you have the back neighbor over there.
So you're against this
Oh, absolutely.
request? All right.
Yes, sir.
Just to try to make sure we understand what you're, again, any questions, other questions for this applicant?
Get it now.
So are you questioning the width, shortening the width the side setbacks?
If
Or are you also against the length of it?
I'm against both, because if you put something there and it's already a pond, it's already pushing on my property. It's more than a quarter on my property if you look at that one picture that's in there. And that's after it rained, and it was sitting there for a week, 2 weeks, sitting on the property, and it's pushing its way. So
Thank
if you fill in, you build something on it, it's gonna start pushing it more. And besides me, I'm thinking about the neighbor behind us. Because if you already put that fence in 2-3 years ago, and he spent all that money, and you know how much money it is to put in a fence, and it's already coming up halfway on the fence. If you put something else there, that poor guy back there, I don't know about his insurance, but the flood insurance you didn't need to be in that area. That's a flood zone now, if you go ahead and do that.
Do you have flood insurance at this time?
I don't think I do. No, sir.
Okay, so,
Because it wasn't required when I bought my house.
all right,
He's not in the flood zone.
you're not in a flood zone? right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions? You through?
Oh, sorry. I did have a question. So so if they weren't to get the variance and build anyway, you would be against that? Because no matter how they build, it's your thought that they're gonna raise the level of the property, change the drainage, and more water is gonna come to your property?
Right, correct. And there has to be some kind of drainage put in there, because no matter what, besides my property, is the 2-3 people that are behind me, they're gonna get that. They're already getting it. Because if you look at their fence and you take a picture of it, you'll see it's running in the middle of the fence. And it's gonna make it harder for them too. It's not just me.
No, I was just clarifying, so it's not so much about the variances that you're worried about, it's the building in general.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so.
That's why I
The
never-
variance just gonna make it a little easier for them for what they want, but they may build a house anyway, so that.
Well, yes, that's at
Okay,
your discretion.
Okay, I was
Absolutely.
just clarifying.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Do we have any other cards to speak?
No, sir.
Does the applicant wish to make any rebuttals? Clayton? Do you wish to make any rebuttal or speak back to what this last person said?
About this lot?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I get the concern about flooding, but, you know, you and I know that we've been here for 30, 40 years. That amount of flooding we got last year was very irregular. We don't have that kind of flooding problems around here. But what we were gonna do is put in some filtration sand back there and remove, there is some muck at the back of the property that I found, you know, after we got through the Brazilian peppers and all the kudzu and all the garbage that was back there. I noticed that, and I said, well, you know, to make this usable anyway, we're gonna have to come in there and put some filtration sand, and that'll allow it to soak and saturate. I mean, that, I seen when he was talking about the water on the fence, and it was up a little ways, but that was after a 15-inch rain that we got, you know, so it's not usual. Yeah, that I know of. But the, you know, now you can see it that all the peppers got removed. I had to do that so they could do the proper survey. And, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be an issue at all. I can put slight swells in when I put the yard in or what have you, like I did at Ramblin' Acres, and it'll lay in there. You know how low that lot was that I built out there. It's all on how you lay out the lot. The water's gonna lay in the places where you design it to lay that way, but we're gonna make sure our clients have good usable space to live in. We want them to be, you know, happy there. So if they get ready to build bigger, we'll be the guy they call.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, no other questions. Thank you. All right, you said that was our last card, Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we will close it at this time for the public hearing and bring it back to the committee for discussion or questions of staff. Well, staff, does this issue ring any bells in your department? I mean, it's not in a flood zone, as we
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, without the variances, there is still ample area to develop a house. It would be further back in the property into, I guess, maybe what seems to be the more concerned area. With the approval of the lot width without the setback reduction, the applicant would be able to bring it back a little more forward, because instead of needing to meet a 75-foot width, they'd have to meet the 50 with 10-foot setbacks. So it'd be a little bit further more, and then if both were to be approved, it would be as shown on your site plan. But as far as the flooding portion of anything, it's not a flood zone, so it wasn't anything that was explored or.
Anyone else have a question?
No comments from any other staff departments on the application either.
Okay. Any other questions, staff? Okay. Any discussion amongst ourselves as to, is that the flood zone?
I would say, looking at the soils in the vicinity of the subject property, the only viable place to build would be towards the front or towards Logan Drive. The back corner shows that it's more than likely a collected basin of long-standing drainage issues, but the city of Titusville will look at that, I'm sure, in the permitting part of it all. So,
And just for Mr. Green, you're looking at page 25 on your packet, just in case the other board members want to take a peek. Is that correct, the soils map?
help me out here. Al says, yes, indeed, it is 25.
Yeah, just in case anyone wanted to see what Mr. Green was looking at.
That is the soil makeup. What we're looking at, not a flood zone or anything, just the soil makeup.
but it can be indicative of what's wet and what's not.
Okay. All right.
I'm curious as to whether it floods. Was that a one-time situation after the 15-inch flood rain? Or
Pretty
is
much.
it like that all the time?
No,
Or after every rain?
it's not. It was an anomaly.
Can I ask the applicant that question?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, you can ask the applicant.
I mean, not the applicant, but this gentleman, yes.
Yes, ma'am, if you look at the back of those cards.
If- You need to come up to the podium at the microphone.
Sorry.
No, turn it back on.
Those pictures are the last 7 years. They're all written down. It was just because we were sending it to family when they were concerned with whether, or if we were like, oh my God, look how high the water's coming up. And even other neighbors were here to speak. They just didn't know to fill out the card.
I'm just wondering, have you gone anywhere else to seek answers to this flooding besides here? Have you?
No, it's
Reached
actually
out?
the first time I'm ever doing this. So sorry if I'm not up to protocol, but this is the very first time I'm doing this. That's why it was just convenient. We had the pictures from the last 7 years to show how bad it gets back there, and it stays there. And it's for weeks. It's not like it
So
goes.
your issue is you feel it's just going to get worse?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I see your dates on here, going back to 22, 23, and 24, and then 25. And that's what the notes you put on the back here, correct?
Yes. Well, my wife
Well,
wrote them down. Yes.
your representative, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I was just being honest.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Is it too late to fill out a card to speak?
I'm sorry, I can't just talk.
Is it too late to fill out a card to speak?
Yes, sir, the public discussion has been closed on it. That's, so I'll bring it back to the board. What is a recommendation or a motion?
Are you asking for a motion?
Motion or whatever. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just, next.
Well, I don't have a motion here, but I'm leaning towards approval of both variance requests at this time.
I'm concerned about the side setbacks being too small.
Aren't there easements or back there or some kind of?
I'm sorry, turn your mic on. You just-
Are there easements or anything in the back that would,
What would be the rear yard setback?
25 feet.
25 feet.
But there aren't, to answer Ms. Van Deven's question, there are no easements notated on the property that would impede on it. But all that would just be restrictions as to where the building could be. But there is no drainage easement or anything like that that I was able to find.
thank you.
And then, of course, if you did build back there, you would definitely have to fill it in.
He's asking for a 5-foot setback on the
Sides.
sides. His neighbor on one side is clearly over 10, probably closer to 20. That's a guesstimate, looking at the visuals. And I see with this lot width, I understand the complications, but again, I'm gonna lean towards approval of these variance requests.
Okay, staff broke it down into two different portions. So we will have to, do I have a motion on the first? Let me back up pages here.
Page
Okay.
12. Page 12, I believe.
Yes, page 12. All right, so the first part, the staff had recommended approval. Do we have a motion on that recommendation?
Can we include both motions, both responses, both parts of it? Or do I need to address them separately?
I guess if they are the same recommendation for both, you could conclude them together, but if you are gonna,
Okay.
All right,
With regard to variance number 2026 at 210 Logan Drive, I will agree with the staff for an approval of the variance request to allow reduced lot width from 75 feet to 50 feet. It's a motion.
okay. So I have a motion on that part. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven,
Yes.
Member Beckles,
Yes.
Member Green,
Yes.
Alternate Member Rothel.
Yes.
Okay. So the first part of the motion was broken down by staff, has been approved from the 75 feet to the 50 feet for the front yard. All right. The second part addresses side yard setbacks from 10 feet to 5 feet. Is there a recommendation or a motion from
I'll put a motion in, but I'm going to agree with the staff again, for a denial of the variance request to reduce the required interior side yard setbacks from 10 feet to 5 feet. The variance is not the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure, and granting the variance requested will not confer upon the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district.
Okay. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion amongst ourselves? All right. Seeing none, have a roll call, please.
Member Beckles,
Yes.
Member Green,
No.
Alternate Member Rothel,
No.
Chairman Taylor,
Yes?
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that, on this board, it takes a vote of 4-0 or 4-5 in order to pass, and this denial. Okay. We recommended it out. So, all right, go to counselor now.
There must be 4 affirmative votes in order to grant a variance, but you have 3 votes, which is a majority in favor to deny, which would be appropriate as denial.
Okay. So the setback part is denied. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So the setbacks stay in place, 10 feet on either side, but the 75 foot has been shrunk down to 50, so you can have that be on that part of the lot. All right. Thank you very much. And now we'll go to our next item, which is on page
32. 32.
30, okay, 32. Well, okay, this is a request for variance number 2-2026, 2108 Melinda, is that what you pronounce that? Melinda Lane?
Melinda, yes, sir.
Okay, staff, if you will enlighten us on this, please.
Thank you. The applicant is requesting a variance to the LDR Section 28-302C to allow an interior side yard setback of 13 feet 8 inches where 15 feet is required for property located within the rural residential zoning district. The subject property contains a single-family dwelling constructed in 1957 and is an unplatted rectangular-shaped lot consisting of approximately .54 acres with 100 feet of frontage along Melinda Lane. While the lot meets the minimum lot area requirement of 21,780 square feet for the RR zoning district, it does not meet the minimum lot width of requirement of 125 feet for a single-family dwelling. In 1993, the property was rezoned from R1B to RR, rendering the lot nonconforming with respect to the current RR lot width standards. The applicant is proposing to construct an addition along the east interior side yard of the dwelling in an area previously occupied by a block carport. The former carport has been removed, and the survey submitted does not reflect the current layout of the house. As a result, the concept plan does not clearly represent the variance request. The applicant states that the existing structure now maintains an approximate 26-foot, 8-inch interior side yard setback, but without an updated survey, staff cannot verify this information. Based on the applicant's representation, the proposed addition would extend 12 feet, 8 inches, resulting in an approximate 13-foot, 8-inch interior side yard setback. All other applicable development standards of the RR zoning district would be met. The property has a non-conforming lot, and the requested variance is not necessarily to allow reasonable use of the property. The removal of the carport building brought the building into greater conformance with the setback, and the proposed addition appears to be a self-created hardship. There are alternative design options that exist that would allow improvements to the resident without encroaching into the required interior side yard setback. So with that, staff would recommend denial of the variance to allow an interior side yard setback of 13 feet 8 inches instead of the required minimum of 15 feet. The requested variance is not the minimum variance that would make reasonable possible use of the land, building, or structure, and alternate design options exist that would allow improvements to the resident without encroaching into the required interior setback. And then for you guys, if you'd like to see, on page 40, you'll have the plot plan discuss that kind of concept plan to show at least the area of where the addition is being proposed and sketched out. There is a drawing, a construction drawing of the addition on page 45 of your packet to show how it would extend off that side. And then on 58, because the survey is not up to date, so 58, there is a picture that has been provided by the applicant to show kind of that current side yard area without that block carport there anymore. And with that, that's all I have. If you guys have any other questions for me.
You said 58. That's to the right side. I thought the carport was over on the other side.
No, so there was actually, so if we go back to, page 39 or 40, whichever of this, you have a screen porch on one side. And then on the right, if you're looking at the picture, there was actually that was a block carport that is included in the main 52 feet width of the house. It was actually a carport included in that. There's a screen porch on the left, and there was a block carport. So if you scroll to, goodness, let me see, so 58, page 60 or 61, you can see in 2019 where the carport was kind of dilapidated. There was a block carport that was there. You can see where that was on that side of the house. That has since been taken down. But the survey reflects that carport, and that's what had that 13-foot side yard setback that's shown on the survey.
And what page is that on?
That the survey was page
On what page? What page?
40 for the survey.
Back to 40.
So 58 is existing conditions,
Oh,
a
okay.
picture of existing conditions. The survey shows that block carport that was shown on page 60
Okay.
from 2019. That has since
That is
been,
no longer there.
that is no longer there.
Okay. All right. And just to confirm, this was part of our rezoning in 1993
Yep.
that moved this from what previously was an R1B to an
R1B.
RR.
Yes, that is correct.
Was there a reason given?
I was unable to find any. It looks like it was pulled into the administrative rezoning where certain ones, I couldn't find a planning application where it was requested. It was just rezoned in
Well,
in
we
93.
had a lot of that done in 93, unfortunately, rezoning. Does anyone else have any questions of staff on this presentation? Okay. Then we'll open it up to the public, and we have a card, please.
John Morrow.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Please give us your name and address for the record, sir.
John Morrow, 2108 Melinda Lane. It's about what it is. We have 26 foot 8 inches, and we need 12 foot 8 out of it, which would knock it down a foot approximately. And that's about it. There's a complete fence the whole length of that side of the house. And all the neighbors on that side of the house have a 10-foot variance, where ours is a 15. That's about it.
How long have you lived there, sir?
Approximately 8 years.
About 8 years. All right. Any other questions? This would be a professionally installed unit you want to put on your garage?
Yes. Well, no, it's not a garage. It'll be a master bedroom and bath.
Oh, okay. You're adding on to the house
Yes.
physically? Okay, all right.
Yeah, those drawings are on 45. They do have construction drawings in the packet
Okay.
that show
I was
the
a bit
addition
confused by those
as
drawings.
proposed. Yep, you can see what the add-on
Oh,
is.
okay. That's what's added on. All right.
Yes.
They're sideways, so.
I had fixed that and it reverted back again.
Let's see if this will turn it. Tink. No, rotate pages. 7-day free trial. Don't want to do that. All right. Anyone else have a question about this addition on this house? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do we have any other cards?
Rebecca Morrow.
Rebecca Morrow, 2108 Melinda Lane.
Yes, ma'am.
I really don't have a lot to add. I think the one thing came to my mind was that we are just at 5 or 0.54 of the half acre. So, I think with that new ruling in the 90s was over a half acre. So we're barely over that. And that original footprint with that carport there is pretty much what we just want to add on. This is pretty much the same space. No.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looks like a nice master bedroom or primary bedroom. Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right, seeing no other cards, we'll close it to the public hearing. I have not personally been to this particular house or this property, but I have seen other properties around it, especially what we call West Circle, which is to the east. And as stated earlier, this was an administrative done. I guess just because it was 0.04 of an acre, they said, okay, now you're RR. But this subdivision was laid out for an RR subdivision. And which I disagree with. That's, what did you, let me get back to my record, what you said here. What was staff's recommendation? What page was that on? You recommended denial? Okay, but on what page was that?
34.
34. All right, now backing up. Thank you. I am tending to set that the original purpose of that subdivision and that lot was for an RR setting, the way the house was built. I would have not restricting it to what they said 12.6, whatever, just setting it at 10 foot. Myself, I would say just put 10-foot restrictions on it, back to the RR setting for this house, and not worry about, hey, it's 3 inches too much, or 3, and whatever the final design comes out to be, down to that. Let's just stick with the 10 feet. With my position. Anyone else have a thought or comment that they would like to add?
This is a layup. I would lean heavily towards approving the application for this variance.
Anyone else? All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve variance number 2-2026 at 2108 Melinda Lane.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I second it.
Very good. Any further discussion? May I have roll call, please?
Member Beckles?
Yes.
Member Green?
Yes.
Alternate Member Rothel?
Yes.
Chairman Taylor?
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Van Deven?
Yes.
Very good. You've been approved, sir. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have, wait a minute, back up. There we go. New business. All right, we got rid of one. No, that's still at the wrong place.
Yeah, it would have been the appeal on
Okay,
page
the
70.
appeal has been
But that has
withdrawn.
been withdrawn.
That is correct. Do we have any petitions or requests from the public at this time? And I don't see anybody that says anything. We do have our semi-annual report to be turned in. Did anybody look that over to see if it met what you remembered, what we planned to submit to City Council? When would that be submitted, please? Do you have a date on that?
Tim, do you know?
It's the first February meeting, and whatever that date is. So what is that, February the,
Calendar, blank. They meet the second Tuesday, right?
right?
Okay, that'd be
So
the
the
10th.
That would be the 10th, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. It's Bunko night. It's a good night for me not to be at home. Yeah, it's just a report that, for those that are new to the board, it's just a report that's turned in semi-annually to the city council. There's really no presentation or,
From our board?
this is from our board,
Right.
yes.
All right, so you're taking care of that?
Yeah, the staff does. They turn it in. I
Oh.
mean, I will
Tabitha-
be
Tabitha's in
there,
charge.
but if
No.
there's a question, but typically, city council, said, okay, unless somebody objects to something we did strenuously in the last 6 months. So otherwise, no, it's not anything you have to attend.
I was not aware of it,
No.
Chairman.
Yeah, this goes on every semi-annual, right? Twice a year. We turn in a report, just like it was shown there, what happened. It's kind of a footprint. Anything else that needs to be brought up? Everybody doing all right? Everybody got warm clothes for the next couple of days?
Staff, anything on the agenda for next month at this time?
Yes, there is.
All right. Thank you very much. So we are looking at a meeting, and that will be on
February 24th? No, 25th?
20 what?
25th?
20? Oh, yeah, it's
Five.
Wednesday, 25th.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I got right here. All right, everybody gonna be here? No plans to leave town? I have no idea. I don't either. Well, I wish everybody a warm time. I wish I could say I would be warm, but I'm traveling and I'm going to go where it's even colder. So I will take a big coat for sure.
Where are you going?
Alabama to see my mama.
Now he's bragging.
Staff, do you have anything else to add?
No, Chair.
Counselor?
Nothing at this time.
All right. Anyone else make a talk? All right. So in that case, we'll call the meeting to adjourn